Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the playthrough. We are on episode 27, and for the start of today's episode, there's a couple of things I need to go over. We are just in the process of getting on with smelting down all of the ore we brought back in our previous episode. So whilst I'm doing that, I'm probably going to have to go and cut a bunch more wood for us to turn into coal. I'm probably even going to turn one of these smelters into a charcoal kiln so we can get some more coal. So while we're doing that, a couple of things I quickly just want to go over. I realised recently, commenters have pointed this out to me, that I've made a bit of a boo-boo. I've made a bit of a mistake. So I have said over a couple of episodes that, throughout the playthrough so far, I've said that with the boar that we've tamed and any future animals that we tame, that if anybody wants to name them, they can just leave a comment and I can change the name of the animal. In theory, that's a great idea, but the big issue that the big mistake that I've made is that in my recordings, I am way, way, way far ahead than we are in the current playthrough. So you're probably not going to see those names actually appear on the animals themselves until, I don't know, about episode 50, maybe even later than that. Just to give you guys kind of an idea, in terms of the recording level, in terms of the recordings, we are in the plains currently. I'm currently second half of the plains. I'm literally just doing the big gathering session to get the armor sets and level and upgrading the armor to the point where we're actually going to take on the boss. We're just doing a bunch of exploring, and I really don't want to make y'all wait that long to see the animal names that you've suggested show up in the playthrough. So what I'm thinking I might do instead is that on our title card for the episode that I've started using, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename the boar now, take a screenshot of them, cut that little boar image out with the name above it, and then have that on the title card, and then as we get more and more of them, they will be there, at least until I've caught up in episodes to actually have them be featured in the playthrough and in the actual footage itself. I do apologise, I did not realise my mistake until the very first person recommended a name or asked for a name to be used on one of the boar, and that day I was like, oh yeah, you're not going to see this for a while. Whoops. Several hours. Like, I have a lot of recording to go through in terms of turning into episodes. So yeah, I do apologise for that. That was a bit of a silly mistake. This isn't something that I'm just doing, like, gradually going through. In terms of the actual state of the world that I'm playing, I'm a lot further ahead than we are on the actual playthrough that I've uploaded. So again, my apologies. Bit of a mistake there, but hopefully that should remedy it, at least until we catch up with the footage and the episodes, so that you can actually see the boar with your names. One thing I can say is that my boar do have a barn, but I won't give away anything else than that. There is a lot of things that have changed from where we are currently in the series as to where I am in the recordings, so I won't give too much of it away. I'll try and keep a lot of it spoiler free. But yeah, that's just a quick remedy that I thought of for the naming of animals situation. It was silly, really. I couldn't believe I didn't actually think about that until the very first person asked for a name. So yeah, my bad. Was there anything else? I don't think there's anything else. I do have to thank people who have been commenting so far. It has been quite interesting to see some thoughts and feelings of people, and I do appreciate some of the feedback I've had so far as well, so I do appreciate it. But yeah, today's episode, like I said, we are just smelting away, getting through this copper and tin that we mined. Hopefully we should have enough of it by now to get everything that we need. We might need a little bit more in future, but not too much, I'm hoping. But yeah, for the start of today's episode, we are just going to be cracking on with getting some wood, turning it into charcoal, and getting the smelting underway as well. Trying to gather as much of it as possible. Ah, yes, now I remember. So there was another thing I wanted to ask. Those of you out there who are following along with the playthrough. Basically, I was talking to a friend of mine about this recently, about how I was concerned. I was explaining the situation about the boars and naming them and stuff like that, and I was just saying to him, like, it's going to be quite a while until people who have named or asked for a name are actually going to see it in the playthrough. So we were thinking of some ideas as to what I could do to speed things up. We did talk a little bit about maybe cutting some parts out of it, so a lot of the time-consuming parts of it, but I really don't want to do that, as I want to kind of have this as a start-to-finish playthrough, or start-to-current state of game playthrough. So I didn't really want to cut anything out, or speed any parts up or anything like that. So the other thing we thought of was potentially increasing the time length of episodes. Now, you probably have noticed that the average time of an episode is about 20 to 25 minutes. I've found a couple of episodes that have been 30 minutes and over, and a couple of episodes that have been under 20 minutes, but yeah, I was thinking possibly just to kind of cut down on the amount of episodes we're going to have, but I'm also thinking, do people really want to watch a series where each episode is going to be 30 to 40 minutes long? So I'm kind of putting this idea to you all first to see what the general reaction on the general thoughts and feelings around that length of episode time, how that would be received. Would you prefer to keep it around the 20 to 25 minute mark, or would you prefer, would you be okay with episodes being 35, 40 minutes long? It's just to kind of keep the episode number down. Because I'm thinking recently, we're on episode 25 now, and we still haven't finished the Black Forest, and I've got, I don't even know how many hours off the top of my head. I don't know how many hours I've got. Probably about 50, if not more than that, hours worth of footage that's been recorded, ready to go in terms of just being edited and put together and uploaded. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments about potentially having longer episode timers, and then I'll take a general thought and take a general mood from the community as to what we feel about that, and then we'll go from there. If we keep it 20 minutes, we'll keep it 20 minutes. It'll just have to be a series that goes on for quite a while, which I don't mind. I don't mind having to do that. Obviously, it keeps me occupied, keeps me with stuff to do. But yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of if we wanted to catch up quicker, because the other issue that I've seen as well is that catching up with the series is going to take quite a while, as I'm still playing and still recording, as I'm making episodes and videos. I'm probably say I'm doing about the same. So in terms of episodes that I'm uploading and like editing and stuff, I'm doing the same amount of time in terms of recording as well. So I'm not really catching up at all per se. I don't know, it's difficult to explain. So the way I do it is quite awkward, because obviously I don't commentate as I play. I don't have the setup for that yet. So it's kind of done posthumously, or post-recording sessions. I then go on to my video editing app and then start commentating what I'm doing. Also allows me to be able to do stuff like this, which is pose questions to the community and to kind of like react to things and explain things a bit more. So yeah, let me know how you all think about having a longer episode timer. I'm more than happy to do it either way. Alright, add some more wood into those two. As you can tell, we've got 2 charcoal kilns and 1 smelter. It's going to take smelting take a bit longer, but until we've got some more surtling coals, we can't really have much more than this. But we do need a lot of coal. We are burning through it a lot quicker, so we are going to need more of that. Now we're just going to quickly pop back to the Black Forest. It's quite surprised we managed to take on that wolf and win. I would probably say that with our current level of armor, we'd probably survive the wolf a little bit better. So I'm taking down the portal from this area, as we're not really going to need it anymore. If we do need any more copper and tin for the rest of the playthrough, we can always just run back here, or once we've got the next level of boat, we can always just sail back, grab what we need, and then sail that home. We would have to do that anyway. I just want to kind of prevent further use of the cart as well, as the cart can take a bit of time. I'd probably say it's a lot quicker to sail than it is to cart things back and forth. So yeah, we're going to take this pole down. We're going to use it in another part of the Black Forest. I'm thinking a better area for us to have a portal, at least temporary anyway, would be the Black Forest to the north of us. So where we found the first crypts that we went through. Oh, excuse me, bit of a hiccup there. So yeah, when we found the first crypts that we went through to get the surtling cores, they were to the north of where our base is. I'm thinking that might be a better option for a portal if we want a Black Forest portal. Or we might even just skip having a Black Forest portal altogether, as we don't really need it much more. And we could have our first portal system be where the Elder is, or something like that. I'm not sure yet. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I think we'll probably have it up north where the crypts are, because that seems to be quite a larger Black Forest biome, and it seems to be more suited to our needs. So we can always just have it there, and then explore a bit more and try and find some more of the crypts. More of the burial chambers, so that we can get some more surtling cores. we are eventually going to have a lot of portals. We might even need to have a dedicated building or area for the portals themselves. We certainly aren't going to be able to keep them in the crafting room. The crafting room is already getting busy, and we haven't even got, I'd say, about half the stuff in there that I want to have in there. So yeah, we'll probably have a dedicated space for them somewhere else. And I've just quickly taken my bronze armor off because the movement speed was a bit annoying. Just grab that mushroom as we're going past. Might as well grab a couple of these. Grab a few more. We'll even grab some raspberries if we see any. Yeah, as you can tell from the speed we're moving now, it's just quicker. These boar aren't going to stop chasing me, so let's take them down. That was a neck as well. Take those down. Take the neck down. Oh, for God's sake. Neck is so small. There we go. Just gotta keep on running. I think we might actually head up there now and stick the portal up, so that way we can just saves us a bit of time later on. Yeah, instead of just running home, we're better off running up there, put the portal up, and then just travel back through the portal. Well, that was like 4 raspberry bushes in one. That one, nice. But yeah, I think that'll be quicker for us. We'll just do that. We'll head up there. I think that's a better spot for us. Plus, there's also tin and copper there if we ever need it. The only issue is I don't think it's near a coast. That's one thing we are going to have to do at some point. I probably won't do it until much, much later on in the playthrough, but one thing we will have to do is sail around the edges of our island, our starting island. I would love to see how truly big it is. It is a monumentally sized starting island. I don't think I've been on one this big. Certainly not one that has 3 mountains on it. Holy smokes, that was a 2-star boar. Jesus. He's dropped a lot of scraps in me for us. Ah, if only we weren't so far away from home, it would be so tempting to take him back and tame him. Imagine a 2-star boar. Although, to be fair, the only reason, like, don't get me wrong, you can tame the 2-star animals and the 1-star animals. Of the animals that you can tame, if you find a 1 and 2-star variant of them, you can tame those. But I'm just thinking that even with the 1-star boars, we're gonna have plenty of leather and boar meat to do us for majority of the playthrough. So whilst it is more optimal to have 2-star and 1-star boars, it's not exactly needed. I suppose it would cut down the amount of boar that you would need to have, so you could probably breed them up until you say have 4 of them. For say if you've got 2 stars and they're dropping 4 of each, like meat and scraps. You could tame them, have 4 of them, and then you'd have more taming slots. Technically, that's not really the way it's looked at, but the taming slots is kind of the way I look at it. So with taming, it's the amount of animals you can have in a certain area. So if you were to have a really, really small pen, you could probably only get 2 or 3 boar in there. You probably wouldn't have much more than that because they don't have much space in order to roam and to breed and stuff like that. Whereas if you had like a massive field for them, you could probably have anywhere between 10 to 20 of them. And other animals that you have and tame and keep in your base, that affects it as well. So let's just say you tame something else and you've got 10 of those, you would only then have probably about 3 or 4 boar. You wouldn't be able to have more boar than that, depending on how big your base is as well. If you had them quite far away from each other, again, you'd be able to take advantage of that. So that'd be another thing. If you wanted to have more of one tame animal than another, you could have 2-star or 1-star variants of the animals that you only need a few of. So you could do it that way. can't imagine what it would have been like if, say, if we were right at the start of the playthrough, we'd run into that 2-star ball. That probably would have been a very epic battle. We probably would have even lost, because they do hit hard. To be fair, I probably should have let him hit me before I killed it, because I'm not wearing any armor currently, so we would have had a more accurate representation of what the damage of a 2-star ball would have been like. Oh well. At least he gave us lots of scraps and lots of meat. I think I've already mentioned this as well, but you can get pretty much 1 and 2-star variants of everything. There's only a couple of creatures in the game that I haven't ever seen 1 or 2-star versions of them. Bosses, obviously. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea for them to add something like that in later on, maybe. You could kind of almost have it a bit like a... again, I don't like referring to this game all the time, but it does seem to be a game that's very relevant to this kind of thing. But they could have like a Dark Souls version of the system, so where, let's just say, they eventually get to the point where they've stopped adding in new areas and new bosses, and they're more just adding in new content and like other stuff. What they could do then is, once you've like got to the end and killed the final boss and completed it, you could then start again, but everything's harder. So like everything you run into is a 1-star version, but then even the bosses as well. So maybe they could do it that way. But yeah, bosses, and then there's a couple of other like creatures that I've just never seen them. They could exist, but I've just never seen them. Sea creatures, like there's a sea monster that we haven't seen yet, but we will see soon, I think. It won't be long before we see our first one. I've never seen those as a 1 or 2-star, but usually it's because they only really spawn when you're actually in the ocean. It's not like they're always there and they always like roam around, so that's probably the reason why. I also don't think they breed either. They just seem to appear when you're nearby, and that's it. So yeah, it's probably kind of preventing it. Maybe they'll add that in. That might be a random generator as to which star monster you come up against. Heck, they might even increase the amount of stars. Imagine coming up against like a 5-star ball. Jesus. 5-star ball that's like 10 feet high and decides to destroy your entire base. Almost like fighting a troll. Right, put the portal up here, as we are just inside the Black Forest, but this seems to be a pretty safe enough area. We are going to need to cut some more wood down to build these walls. The silly thing I did, you probably noticed it back when I took the portal down from the other Black Forest area, is that I didn't take the walls down as well, which I should have, because we could have used all that wood for many different reasons, but we could always just cut down the trees that are here. Cut down a couple of pine as well, so we can get some more core wood. We are going to need some more of that. I'm wet because it's raining and I don't have my rested buff, and we can't get the rested buff unless we travel home. Not the greatest of timing, I'll have to say. Gonna have to slowly wait for our stamina to regenerate while we cut these trees down. There's a habit that I'm into at the minute which I really need to stop, which is sprinting when I'm like sprinting all the time. It's like when I'm cutting a tree down, I'll then go and sprint to pick up all the bits of wood on the floor, but then that continually drains your stamina, so you're not allowing your stamina any time to actually recharge. I think it's because the way I have it set up is you can have sprint set up to either be a single button press or you have to hold it down. So you can just press it once and you constantly sprint until you press it again to turn it off, or you run out of stamina, or you can just hold it down and it works that way. Yes, now that we've travelled back, we will need to go back and rebuild those walls properly at some point, but now that we've travelled back, I think we will end the session there, as we're getting pretty close to the end of this recording session, so yeah, I think we'll call it soon, pretty soon anyway. I'm just going to quickly dump some of my inventory and just sort the chests out a little bit. We also want to put a bit more wood and charcoal and stuff on just before we go to bed, so we can get that going through the night whilst we're sleeping. But yeah, we'll have to try and go back and build those walls at some point. Again, I'm not exactly sure how important this Black Forest portal is going to be. It's there as an option if we need to go back and find any more Black Forest things, but we also want one up near the Elder as well, so I don't know how much we'll go back to that particular one. We'll see. We'll leave it there for now, see what happens. If it gets knocked down, it gets knocked down. We can always just pop back up there at some point and rebuild it and wall it off and stuff if that becomes an important thing. But yeah, hope you enjoyed today's episode. Had a couple of questions in there, so if anybody wants to leave any comments and give me your thoughts and opinions on changing the episode length and the time length and stuff like that, then please feel free. Would like to get as much feedback as possible when it comes to them. I do like the 20 to 25 minute episodes, but I'm not adverse to doing half an hour. I mean, it's only an extra 10 minutes. It's not exactly difficult. I can always increase them if we want to keep the episode runtime down. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you in the next one.